Tell me, what's all this commotion about?
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
Reports of strong interference with radio.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show, coming to you from both California and Alabama. My name is Sasquatch, and the dude on the other end of the mic, his name is Denton.
Hello, everybody. My name is Denton. This is the Denton and Sasquatch Show. I am in Alabama. I'm not a dude.
There's other things I could call you.
I get called things every day.
Boy.
Sometimes my name. No.
Well, how's things going over there?
Who?
I said, how's things going over there?
Oh, not bad. But look here, everybody. If there seems to be some technical difficulties, it is because my Wi-Fi extender forgot my password, admin password thing.
And Denton forgot his password.
As well. Okay.
Oh, you know what? We did
so
try.
There you go.
I just wanted to let everybody know, Denton and I got a good look at each other for the first time tonight. We did try hooking up our cameras, but it was screwing up with the feed, so we nixed that idea. But nice to finally put a face to the name I've been talking to all these months.
You know, you look like you ought to be on TV. I look like I ought to be writing a paper.
I look like I should be on TV?
Sure, you got that TV look.
Well, thank you, sir.
That must be why they allow you to stay in Southern California.
I'm very dashing.
Anyway, in the news.
It's crickets. Yeah.
I'm not going to make a comment about another guy.
Well, you didn't have to. I wasn't fishing for one. I was
Good.
Just making a joke.
Good.
I'm not really that dashing. I'm kind of scruffy looking, actually.
There's a couple of things that just, you know what I'm saying? One, I'm not going to make unless it's going to be just a joking comment about ugliness or something like that. You know, but I'm not going to, you just look handsome.
Well, if you'd have said that, I would have had to in the show right there.
Yeah, and if somebody said, "Brian, you're looking good today," no. First off, that's a lie. Second off, I'm not kissing you. Third off, get the heck away from me. Now, the other thing is, a woman can touch me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a difference between touching and groping, but you know what I'm saying? Physical contact, woman, no problem.
Yeah.
But a guy touching me, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of different.
So if if a buddy you hadn't seen in a long time came to say hi, you wouldn't give him a hug?
Oh yeah, that's something different. If I've known you for 20 or 30 years, I was in the Army with you, something like that. That's not the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I found that I'm not the only guy that's that way. So to be totally honest, I will use that against other people at work, just to make them feel uncomfortable.
But what about not touching you?
Yeah, but I'll touch them. I'll pat them on the shoulder and just rest my hand there or something. There's one guy I'll chase down and give him a hug because it freaks him out just as bad as it freaks me out. And that's just how big of an asshole I am. So anyway, we just went down a rabbit hole and I have no idea how we did that. But let me drag us back to the news. Have you heard about Trump saying something about moving the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
Speaking of touching people the wrong way.
Yeah. All of the Muslim world have cheered and applauded and said it's about time, President Trump, because everybody knows that the city of David is Israel's rightful capital.
Yes, I'm sure they're shooting off fireworks and getting the party together as we speak.
Yeah. These people, he's not going to. One of the things is that they don't understand how the United States government operates. He said this, but how many decades is it going to take before the machinery actually start moving in that direction?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's not. I guess there's some paperwork to go through about this. So.
Well, that just contractors alone. I mean, you're going to have to bid on the contract. So you're going to have, I don't know, a bazillion companies that's going to bid on this government contract. And then somebody is going to eventually win the contract after a few months, many months. And then other companies are going to appeal that decision. You see what I'm saying? Now, that's just to get the contract. Now, Mr. President.
Obviously, Trump is going to hire his own company because he only went into the White House to line his own pockets.
I forgot about that. You're right. So that will expedite things. But now they're going to have to deal with the Israelis on where it's going to be.
Yes.
That'll take this whole thing is going to take some time. I don't know what they're freaking out about. The second coming will hit before that happens. But the Muslims want to get a jump start on this, and so they're already freaking out. And, of course, they're throwing rocks and stuff at the Israeli soldiers. And one of the rock throwers found out that's not a good idea because the Israeli soldier threw a bullet back, and he's dead now. Pretty cool. And not the soldier, but the rock thrower, or whatever he was throwing. And, Hamas is talking about another intifada, and man, the Iranians are saying, Mr. Trump, you better not do this or this is going to be, what's going to be. It's going to be bad. And, of course, Trump's saying, whatever. But Turkey's President Erdogan. Are you having fun over there?
I was just, it just cracks me up because a country called Turkey. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Say that with me. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Now tell me you weren't smiling, if not giggling, when you tried to say that. Anyway, Erdogan, who regards himself as a champion of the Palestinian cause, and I hate that too, the Palestinian cause. They're not Palestinians. They are Arabs that just flooded the area when the Jews made something out of the area, and now they had jobs. Mm-hmm. Palestine was just something that the Romans called Israel, trying to make the whole concept of Israel disappear. Okay, so there's no Palestine. There's no state of Palestine. There are no Palestinians, never have been. So just call them the so-called Palestinians or the alleged Palestinians or the misplaced Arabs. All anyway, right. Let me get back on track here. He is a champion, Erdogan. Recep Tayyip Erdogan regards himself as a champion of the Palestinian cause, had fulminated against President Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital, even before it was officially announced last week. He says that this is the red line for Muslims. So this is the red line. The United States is going to move the building from Tel Aviv over to Jerusalem. That's the red line. Man, they'll use anything for red line. With Trump's disregarding such warnings, as we would know that Trump would do, the Turkish president used his position as the current chairman of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to call a summit of the Pan-Islamic Group. So the Pan-Islamic Group, which is 58 nations that are either Muslim governments or a Muslim majority, they're going to get together and they're going to decide what they're going to do as a group. What do you think that's going to be?
Well, if there's one thing that brings the Muslims together, it's killing Israelis. So my guess would be they're going to try to kill more Israelis.
And the fact that Erdogan's doing this, because depending on who you talk to about the Bible, down when I was growing up, it was Russia is a bad guy. That's where everything was going to come down from, because of course you project who you think the enemy is. It's going to be the biblical enemy. Mm-hmm. But what's his name? Wally Shubat, who was a Palestinian terrorist. I mean, he almost blew up something with a bomb, but then he changed his mind. His mother's Christian, and she kind of led him in as a youth to where he would see other sides, and then all of a sudden the light switch clicked, and he's a Christian. But from the Middle Eastern, apparently, point of view, the trouble is going to be coming from Turkey. Me, I have no idea. I always think it's going to come from a supervisor. Some boss of mine is going to be my big problem, but who knows which way it's going to come from. But let's say it is Turkey. Well, it's kind of disconcerting that we're moving the embassy. That seems to be the red line. All of a sudden, there's a red line there, and Erdogan is being a big mouth, and he's going to drag everybody together, and we're going to kick some Jewish butt. Mm-hmm. So I find this kind of a little bit disturbing. Now, am I saying that Trump should not move the embassy? Absolutely not. I don't care. What? They're going to bellow and bluster and say, if you do this, then we're going to get all upset and blow something up. And we're supposed to sit back and say, oh, I'm sorry, we won't do the right thing, which I think is the right thing, because we're afraid you're going to do something. No. Do what you need to do. And if they do something, smoke them.
Yeah, deal with consequences later.
Yeah. Some people say, well, you don't have skin in the game. Actually, I have a son in the National Guard. Yes, I have skin in the game. Believe it or not, I'm still young enough to be called back in.
Well, I mean, isn't that
isn't
that the very definition of terrorism? Is they try to terrorize you so you don't do something that they don't want you to do.
I would say it is. So they're terrorists now. Erdogan, you're on our terrorist list, or mine.
You can't come in our country.
Yes. We may have to track you down and kill you. Eat you with taters.
Well, it should be interesting to see what happens with all of this. It's just, it's another campaign promise from Trump, that's for sure.
It surely is.
I mean, say what you want about the man, but he is fulfilling campaign promises.
Doing a very good job.
Yeah.
So, well, that's all I've got to say about that. I just want to bring that up in case tomorrow we wake up and the Middle East is in fact in flames. And I wanted to be able to say, hey, we talked about that before it happened.
That's almost a possibility every day.
True.
Well, I got some weird news here that it's not the usual sort of funny weird news. It's kind of creepy weird news, but this probably got buried with, all the sexual harassment and Israel and everything else going on these days. But have you ever been photobombed?
No.
Do you know what a photobomb is?
Well, I don't take many pictures. I'm not in many pictures, so I probably have missed this.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I don't usually take a lot of pictures. But anyway, a photobomb
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, sure.
Photobombed. That's when somebody takes a picture of you while you're stupid, staggering drunk.
That's a good guess, but not really. A photobomb is when, say you're taking a selfie or somebody's taking a picture of you. Well, you run in behind the people and get in the picture and kind of screw up their picture.
Well, that's not nice.
No, we used to do this when I was a kid at Disneyland all the time. Before there was a name for it.
What?
Well, I mean,
That's pretty jerkish.
Yes, well, I was a jerk as a kid. But there were, nice tourists, and they'd want to be taking a picture in front of the Magic Castle, and we'd run up behind and make a stupid face in their picture. So, when they got developed, they'd be like, hey, who's that idiot?
People who do that thing, somebody that does such cruel things to people, who knows what they'll do next?
Are you suggesting I may be a serial killer?
Well, who knows? I mean, you're a serial photobomber.
Well, I was when I was 12.
They usually grow up to do other things that are even more despicable. Look at Ted Bundy and look at the vampire Sacramento. He started out tormenting insects when he was a kid.
Okay, well, I do not have a woman tied up in my closet right now, I promise.
Well, okay. That makes you kind of odd because most politicians seem to do.
That's true. Well, all right, getting back to photobombing. Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock. Remember him?
Yeah, I think I remember him.
Well, apparently it has come out that just a couple of hours before committing his mass shooting, he was photobombing people at Taco Bell.
You see what I'm saying? He starts out with photobombing. Next thing you know, he's shooting people up.
Yeah, I guess there's a couple who are visiting Salt Lake City. and they're from Mesa, Arizona. They were returning back home through Las Vegas. They stopped at Taco Bell on the Las Vegas Strip for a bite to eat, and since it was their first time in Vegas, they took a couple photos. The woman in the photo showed the selfie to her father, and he recognized the man in the background as the Las Vegas shooter, Stephen Paddock.
I can't get over one thing. This couple, they come from Salt Lake City to Las Vegas for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're going to take a selfie of themselves, obviously of themselves if it's a selfie, and they do it at a Taco Bell.
Well, I mean, they may have taken a few other pictures, but the one of them was at Taco Bell. Hey, you know how stupid people are.
Yeah.
Well, she showed the picture to her dad, and he said that's the Las Vegas shooter. The FBI has confirmed that the man in the photo is Paddock, according to the sources who sent the photo. The sources also say that the picture was just taken 2.5 hours before the shooting. Apparently, there are other photos from people around that were in the Las Vegas area at the time with Paddock photobombing them as well, but the FBI did not comment on those. So people are wondering if this was just Paddock's twisted way of leaving a calling card or what.
Hey, he knew he was going to have a busy day. He wanted to have a little fun before he went out and did what he did.
I'm guessing.
If he did what he did, if you believe it.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I mean, there's just no way of knowing, but it is kind of creepy and weird that he was doing that.
Yeah. Did he get a taco?
That may be what caused him to shoot everybody. They forgot the sour cream on his burrito. He went ballistic.
And his stomach was still in uproar.
Yep. All right, your turn.
Well, all right. Well, I don't know if I can top that. Oh, yeah, I can, because I can always go to London. You're not going to believe this, but wolf whistling and sexist remarks could become hate crimes in London. Can you imagine that? Where all the construction workers, what are they going to do when they're sitting there on their lunch breaks and a pretty girl walks by?
So that thing we used to see in cartoons as a kid where the guy would turn into a wolf and whistle at a girl, that's now sexual assault?
The Metropolitan Police today revealed it is speaking with other UK forces to assess whether it is worth cracking down on gender-based hate crimes after a pilot scheme was launched in the East Midlands last year. The trial, led by Nottinghamshire Police, saw sexist incidents like street harassment, verbal abuse, and taking photos without consent recorded as hate crimes, carrying tougher penalties for offenders. Okay, so verbal abuse. What is verbal abuse? Hey, you're looking good today. Ah, there comes the cops. You're going away. Street harassment.
So a compliment is now verbal abuse.
Well, apparently, because I always thought the wolf whistle it was a form of complimenting. I mean, it's not probably going to get you a date, but at least, she thinks, oh, I'm worth the whistle. But anyway, the police chiefs are now considering rolling out the idea elsewhere in the UK, suggesting a harsher stance on everyday sexism could stop it from escalating into sexual harassment or assault. Now, because I know that's what, when I was in my youth, first thing you know, I'm wolf whistling at this girl. Then the next thing you know, I'm pulling a political move on her.
A political move?
Well, yeah, that's what all the politicians seem to be doing is groping and shoving tongues down their throats and everything. That only makes sense. First you wolf whistle, then you become a politician.
So the girls are going to say, oh, my God, he just frankened me.
Yeah. Depending on how old they are. If they're youngins, they could say, he just moored me.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a s'more.
Or you could say he Clinton me.
Police, if they're old, yeah. Police believe halting here's another word I love, misogynistic remarks could go towards lowering serious sexual violence crimes overall.
Misogynistic.
Thanks. I hate those words. What was the word last week I had a problem with?
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the picture.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. I'm from Alabama. Leave me alone. A Scotland Yard spokesman told the Standard, we have been speaking to other forces about their experiences of the practicalities of recording gender-based hate crimes, and we'll use this along with our feedback from our partners to inform any future changes to MPS policy. That is a big mouthful of nothing. this whole movement is a big mouthful of nothing.
Well, what do you expect?
Sexual harassment.
What do you expect from a bunch of guys that used to chase around a guy in tights? Isn't Nottingham where Robin Hood came from?
I believe it is. That was the Nottingham Forest, wasn't it?
Was it Nottingham or Sherwood Forest? I thought he was Robin of Nottingham.
Okay, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Sherwood Forest, or is that where Winnie the Pooh was?
I don't know, maybe.
All we know is a bunch of English dudes was chasing around some fella in tights with a bow and arrow.
Explains a lot about England.
Yeah, so, okay, they're going to attack Muslim sexual assaults, which happens in, well, all over Europe, by going after the Englishmen who wolf whistle.
Where's Fang Farrier when you
Way
need
to
him? He could explain all this.
We're going to have, and I don't think you'll like it, but, we'll have him on come January once all this Christmas and holiday uproar is just over. And hopefully by then I'll have the Wi-Fi extender fixed.
So what we're learning now is England's going to call wolf whistling sexual harassment. Is that what I'm to understand?
Hey, baby, you looking fine today. Come here, boy. Putting you in handcuffs.
Good day, fine madam. You're looking rather nice today. Hey, come here.
I can't shoot you, but I'll billy club you to death.
And then we'll drink a spot of
That's
tea.
A spot of tea.
Spot of
Okay,
tea.
let's don't make. There may be some Englishmen listening to us thinking we're idiots for trying to mimic them and doing a pathetic job. So let's drop that. Let's move on. You got something next. I know you do.
May I have some more porridge, sir? Well, yes, speaking of sexual harassment, it looks like the Dems may have, Democrats may have blown their wad a little soon. I say this because we all know that basically what they've been doing is throwing their own under the bus, like Franken and Conyers, which is, it means nothing, because to throw people under the bus that are in safe districts that you're not going to lose really is not showing your moral authority, but they think it is. And what this all has boiled down to is them doing that so then they can come back, which they're starting to do already, and say, okay, well, we kicked out ours, now you need to kick out Trump and more because they've been accused. Well, apparently Trump has a new accuser. I read this only minutes before we went on the air here, so it's fairly new. A former Fox News anchorwoman who accused Bill O'Reilly of sexually harassing her in 2011 is now claiming that Donald Trump kissed her on the lips in an elevator. Juliette Huddy said Thursday morning on the Morning with Bill and Schultz podcast that it happened around 2005 or 2006 when Trump was hosting The Apprentice on NBC. He took me to lunch in Trump Tower. He said goodbye to me in the elevator while his security guy was there. He went to say goodbye, and he, rather than kiss me on the cheek, leaned in and kissed me on the lips. Huddy, who Trump knew because she co-hosted Fox and Friends on the weekends, said she assumed Trump's lip kiss was just confusion. Oh, he went the wrong way, she said. She also said that she wasn't offended. I thought it was interesting. Huddy said...
But she's speaking out now?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's odd that a woman would say, I think this is interesting. Huddy said she was surprised he went for her lips, but didn't feel threatened. In fact, she brought a friend back to Trump Tower so that the future president could give them a tour of the Apprentice set. Huddy believes Trump was single at the time, and after checking the math, host Bill Schultz said it was possible he was engaged to Melania at the time of the kiss. She says Trump referenced the kiss when he was Huddy's guest on her syndicated series, The Morning Show with Mike and Juliet. He came up on stage and he turned around to the audience, and there were about 50 people there, and he said, I tried to hit on her, but she blew me off, Huddy remembered. Huddy emphasized that at the time she wasn't offended that he kissed her, but that she has a different perspective now. Now that I've matured, I would have said nope. At the time, I was making excuses. Says they reached out to the White House for a comment, but did not immediately respond. This is her Twitter. Yes, it's true. Although I'm offended by his comments on other matters, as I said on 77 WABC radio. Yesterday, I was neither threatened nor offended in the elevator. End of story. Now, please let me get back to whatever she's doing.
Well, first off, as far as Trump's tried to hit on her, but she turned me down type things. He says these kind of things. This is kind of a way of bolstering her. Well, me being Donald Trump, I hit on her, but she turned me down. That's how good she is. He's just got to look at how he sees things. He's always making these kind of comments, first off. So why is she worried about? She ought to say, wow, that's true. I turned Donald Trump down.
Well, and this is dating. I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many. I mean, I'm a single guy. I've been on tons of dates, and sometimes those dates end with a kiss, and sometimes that kiss is enjoyed and it goes further, or other times the girl kind of sends a message by pulling her head back or even saying no, and you think, okay, well, that didn't work out. Move on to the next. It's called courting. That's what people do, and now they're making a big deal about it.
They're making anything to be a target at him.
Yes.
Anything for him to be a target. Yes. You know what I'm saying.
Well, and this is all part of their plan to come up and say, well, now that we've had this happen and this lady say this, that the president should step down.
Well, I'm certainly glad they did this, because this is so really that anything else they say, what are they going to do next? I mean, he looked at me. I mean, they're getting a little bit petty here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most of the things they do are so, to us, we say, really? They're just, they're in hysterics mode.
Well, they're going to impeach him. Well, they already tried to impeach him. It didn't work.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
It's 58 to what, whatever the math is, yeah.
But, I mean, it's getting to the point where, I mean, women are never going to have dates anymore, because guys are going to be like, nope, I don't want to deal with this crap. Because that's the way that's the way guys are. We can only take so much before we're just like, that's it, I'm done. I'm not dealing with this anymore.
What do they call that? Men going their own way as a movement. What's his name? I can't remember this guy's name, but it started that, we're just fed up with the crap. We can't take it anymore. We're just going to go about our business, and you know what? We're just tired of this. But the dailymail.com, which, again, I went to England, question, would you date a robot? More than a quarter of millennials said they would replace a human lover with a droid. Well, can you believe that?
With what's been going on recently, yes. Maybe a month ago I'd say no, but now, yeah.
Well, as robots becoming an ever-increasing part of our daily lives, not mine, I mean, but apparently to these people, humans could soon find love with the machines, according to a new report. The report suggests that over a quarter of 18 to 34-year-olds feel it's normal to form relationships, even romantic relationships, with robots in the future instead of humans.
Looking for love in all the wrong circuits.
Oh, boy. And it seems that men are more likely to embrace the bots, with the report indicating that males are 3 times more likely to form a relationship with a robot than women. Well, gee, keep on nagging them. Yeah, they're going to replace you with somebody they can just hit the mute button on.
Can you blame them?
Yeah. The report was created by Paris-based Havas, whatever that is, Havas, I'll call it, and examined the future of the artificial intelligence and people's attitudes to the future of technology. These findings were based on a survey of 12,000 people of mixed ages worldwide. It found that in UK, men were 3 times more likely to agree they could have a relationship with a robot in the future compared to women. And romantic relationships with bots will be more common than you might think, with a report suggesting that it could be taken up as much as 27% of 18 to 34-year-olds. Now, this is one way to depopulate the world.
Yeah, that could work. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but what is it? Whites are pretty much not procreating at all these days.
We've got to the point that the indigenous Europeans have been so into socialism, they have no need to have kids. As a matter of fact, kids are an annoyance. They get in the way and everything. So they're taking the selfish road. So they're not replacing themselves. And so, of course, now their population is being replaced by, let's just call them immigrants.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the
Anyway.
same thing's happening here in America. I mean, since the feminist movement, I don't know, what, in the 60s, whatever, you know, telling women that you can do anything you want, which they can. I got no problem with that. But, you know, the women are putting off marriage, you know, going and getting stupid degrees in college. So are guys. But, you know, to get an underwater basket weaving degree, it ain't going to do anything for you. But, you know, they put off until they're 40. Okay, I want to have kids. Well, you can't have kids now. So, yeah. Nobody's having kids.
And the guys are getting sick and tired of this crap, and plus they're doing the thing. They're going for underwater basket weaving degrees as well. They can't support anybody. How are they going to support a wife with the same kind of degree? How are they going to have kids? Yeah, this is great. I guess they'll just all be employed by Soros and be Antifa freakers, which we found out they can't even do anything right. They can't even take over the world like they were supposed to do back on, what was it, November 8th, I think it was?
Yeah. How'd that work out for them?
Not very well. All they had to do was protest and break things, and they couldn't even show up for that. Jiminy crickets. So they couldn't tear themselves away from their iPhones long enough to do that.
Well, I think I might know why they couldn't do that.
Why?
Because they were all scromiting.
Scromiting?
Yes, they were scromiting. You haven't heard of
Are we allowed to
scromiting?
say that?
Well, I just did.
Okay.
Doctors across the country say scromiting is becoming a familiar sight in emergency rooms. Patients are showing up screaming and vomiting as they plead for help. The condition, which is known as cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, or CHS, is not totally understood, but doctors believe the symptoms appear from people who consume lots of marijuana over a long period of time. Dr. Amy Mullen, an emergency room physician at UC Davis Medical Center, says she's seen a rise in scromiting cases ever since California legalized recreational marijuana in November of 2016. She also expects to see even more scrometers after commercial sales start happening in January. 48-year-old Chalafante Lenny Queen described what happened to her. I'm going to try to do this as Chalante.
Okay.
Now, you see, I've screamed out for death. I've cried out for my mom, who's been dead for like 20 years, mentally not realizing she can't come help me. Mm-hmm. Is that racist that I just did that?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Shaniqua.
Not much research has been done on CHS, but one study found that cannabis users would have to consume marijuana 3 to 5 times a day for scromiting to happen. Here's how the National Center for Biotechnology Information defines CHS. Often mistakenly called clinical vomiting syndrome, cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome is a rare form of cannabinoid. Can't even say the word. Of pot toxicity that develops in chronic smokers. It's characterized as cyclical episodes of debilitating nausea and vomiting. People who suffer from the syndrome often find that hot showers relieve their symptoms and will compulsively bathe during episodes of nausea and vomiting. Symptoms stop after cessation of cannabis use. So there you go. The Antifa guys were scromiting. That's why they couldn't come out and riot.
So they go to the emergency room because they're scromiting. They come back home to find out that all their computers and appliances are taken out of the house because their robot wife has left them.
She took all the computers. Well, I mean, she was having an affair with the toaster anyway, so.
That's probably why she left that behind. She's now going for a toaster oven. Well, that's all I have for this crazy-ass day.
I'm actually depressed after the show.
I thought it was going to be a funny show.
I know,
but it is kind of depressing.
There's a lot of screwed up people in this world.
Thank you, education system, entertainment industry, and politicians. Yeah. We are now absolutely, officially doomed.
So drink up.
Good night, everybody. Don't scrum it.
What is it, screaming and vomiting? Ah! Ah! Ah!
If I ever leave this world alive, well, thank you for the things you did in my life. If I ever leave this world alive, I'll come back down and sit beside your feet tonight. where